You can't sleep either? What if we tried counting something together? Well, seeing as it's almost Halloween, that time of year when people celebrate their love of stabbing pumpkins, let's count something to do with love. I know, let's count 10 love potions that worked too well. 1. Ethan Cooke of Hobart, Tasmania fell in love with a farmer's daughter, but she was a character in a painting his father had hung on the wall behind his desk. Undeterred, Ethan bought a love potion and smeared it on the painted girl's lips. She fell so deeply in love with him it woke her to life. When she stepped out of the painting, barely 4 inches tall, the cat got her. 2. In reality, the man that the Asterix comics are based on had a friend who fell into a cauldron of love potion, not magic potion. Their love was as pure and their lovemaking so hot that it terrified the occupying Roman army who fled the country. Which is why even today France remains uncivilised. 3. Billy Lester from San Francisco, County Wicklow, Ireland, wanted his boss to fall in love with him. Long story. So he sprinkled a love potion over his boss's meal. They were doing their annual employee feedback meeting. His boss, who liked to keep things cash, invited him to a nearby restaurant to do it over lunch. Before the boss could eat the dosed food, he spat out the bad news they were letting Billy go. Then he ate a bite to cover the uncomfortable pause. Then he told Billy he loved him, and then he started to cry and had a breakdown. It wouldn't have happened if you'd used the new app which uses your phone's camera to inspect your meals to check if someone has put drugs in your food. Sign up now for a free 30-day trial. It's only $9.99 a month afterwards. 4. Frogs are generally amiable creatures, but those living in enchanted forests do occasionally get ticked off with all the princesses kissing them and expecting them to turn into handsome princes. To teach them a lesson, Borl, a frog from Hungary, put some love potion on his lips when he saw Princess Pinata once more approaching for a smooch. It worked. She fell in love with him, had him kidnapped and brought to her bedchambers when he refused to leave his forest home, then rolled over and squashed him flat in bed, all in the same day. 5. After using a love potion on his cigar, Freud subsequently tried to downplay the affair in public, claiming sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. His children Gordo, Lonsdale and Panatella Freud refused to comment for this story. 6. An urgent need to avoid paying income tax forced the English aristocratic families of Blakemore and Wiltine to contract a marriage of convenience between their eldest children, Terrapins and Marshmelda, exploiting a loophole. Born privileged, however, Terrapins and Marshmelda didn't understand why they shouldn't have it all, so they decided to fall in love with each other, as well as marrying for sound financial reasons. Very romantic, they drank a love potion together on the silk sheets of their bed on the night of their honeymoon. Unfortunately, a vampire bit them before the potion wore off, leading it to fall in love with the taste of Blakemore and Wiltine blood. Unwilling to sully his mouth with anything else, the vampire wiped out both bloodlines. The tragedy is, once they were all dead, the vampire then starved to death for love of blood. 7. It was a well-kept secret up to now that Hitler's secret plan to win the Second World War was to use a love potion on Churchill. He would swap a bottle of Churchill's lunch champagne for a love potion, then turn up with Eva Braun. Churchill, according to the plan, would fall in love with Eva and give Hitler anything he wanted just to get her. Fortunately for the free world, Churchill spent most of the war too drunk to notice women. A White witch, this is number 8, what people nowadays would call a woke witch, like that's a bad thing, once promised to provide a love potion free of charge to a penniless suitor if he could convince her his love was reciprocated and the whole thing was consensual. When he couldn't, she gave it to him anyway, but in the tea he was drinking. He fell in love with her, and she had her way with him. He had an amazing bod, and then she kicked him out to teach him a valuable lesson. 9. The man never forgot the witch. To win her favour, he worked tirelessly until he had amassed an enormous fortune, so much that he had to do things like gold plate his horse Yana and crush diamonds into his beard just to use some of it up. He returned to the witch and offered her this fortune, his heart, and anything else she might desire, but she turned him down. For many years had passed, and his hot bod was gone. His hot bod was gone. 10. Hoping to teach a school bully a lesson, 9-year-old Jason Bellamy gave the bully's mother some love potion. The idea was she would fall in love with him, Jason, making the bully the school's laughingstock. Instead, the bully's mother got a special dispensation to marry Jason, God bless certain states in America, and Jason is now bullied by his stepson at home too. Ooh. All right. Good night.